Hey, I'm Tan Vinh, and this is Seattle Eats, a food podcast from the Seattle Times and KUOW. I'm on vacation, but I'm still eating and drinking all kinds of best bites and slurps, so you better believe I'll have more tips on navigating the food scene when I return. I'll be back October 16th, but this week we're playing one of our favorite episodes about breweries. There have been a flurry of restaurant closures this year, but Seattle breweries made some big moves. 2 local breweries expanded and created third places unlike any other. And today, in the archive, we got that story with my editor Trevor Lenzmeier, plus a third place brewery from one of you. Ready? Let's go! Hey, Seattle Eaters! Trevor Lenzmeier is in the building. He's a feature editor at the Seattle Times, which means he's my boss, so I gotta be on my best behavior.
That's right.
Hey, Trevor.
Hey, Tan. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. So, the city of Seattle is getting 2 big-name breweries that's going to expand. The first one is Aslan Brewing. They're based in Bellingham. They expanded to Fremont about 5 years ago, but now they're expanding with an even more ambitious project. It's going to be in Tangletown, east of Green Lake. They have partnered with Ethan Stowell to do a seafood menu and an oyster bar. It's scheduled to open in May.
And you said Tangletown? Can you? Is that a micro neighborhood? What's Tangletown?
Oh, you had to go there. You had to go there. This is very controversial because people refuse to accept Tangletown as a neighborhood, but it does exist, people.
Some call it Meridian, and for all the geography stands out there, it's technically southeast of the lake itself. Don't grill my man Tan on that. He's been accused by Seattle Times commenters of stirring geographical drama. But Tangletown is a real place, we promise.
Yes. Thank you for bringing that. Thank you for clarifying that, Trevor. So that's Aslan Tangletown. That's opening sometime in May. And the second big opening is, I'm sure you know about this, and that's Ruben's Brewing. So Ruben is a big deal in Ballard. I would say they're one of the top craft breweries in our city. And they're opening a third location, and it will be in downtown near Pike Place Market.
You said Harbor Steps, right?
Yes, around the Harbor Steps.
Cool.
And they're trying to open before the summer tourism cruise ship rush.
And give me an idea of space, like a big place or...
Oh, we're talking about 200 people.
Wow.
And we're talking in both cases. It is family friendly. Dogs will be allowed in their patios. Both spots will have patios.
Yeah.
And it's funny, isn't it, Trevor? Because when you think of a place that sells beers to adults, it's actually a great place in terms of family atmosphere. And I think that's because they fill a void, Trevor.
Yeah.
They're becoming this new third place, that place between work and home where people gather and just to hang out.
So you're saying the Ballard Brewery bubble has not yet burst?
Oh, not even close. That's either going to make some people very angry or very happy.
Well, for me, it's like I don't think of anything other than that when I think of Seattle. First place that I ever went was that Ruben's in Ballard, kind of like right off the old tracks. So, I mean, it's a big win, right? It's a big third place where anybody can go, where you can have a birthday party, you can have an impromptu, whatever. You don't have to drink a beer. And they've got NA options too, right?
Yeah. This is ironic to me because if you compare brewery tasting room menus to dive bars and restaurants, tasting rooms offer more non-alcoholic beer and mocktails and other non-alcoholic options. When I walk into a brewery, Trevor, I see treats for dogs. I see booster seats for kids. I often see soccer teams or softball teams that get together after the big game. I see kids' birthday parties. And it's probably the only venue, Trevor, where you don't have to spend a lot of money. You can sit there and nurse a beer under $10.
Totally.
If you were at my bar and you sat there for 2 hours nursing a Rainier, I will kick you out. I'm sorry.
Well, Tan, I would have 3 Rainiers. Thank you very much.
There you go. See, now I can pay my rent. Now the bartenders can pay
Well,
their
exactly.
rent.
Like you go to the Big Stoop space, the former Optimism space on Capitol Hill by me, you can bring a birthday cake in there. You can get the food truck from right outside. You can bring food in. You can play trivia. Shout out Seattle Times journalist Paige Cornwell. She hosts trivia there. You can have, again, one beer over the course of hours, sit out by the campfires and just hang out.
Right, and you can't do that at a restaurant
anywhere else.
or at a bar. And I'm so glad that you mentioned Stoops, because my epiphany is like a couple of years ago, I saw these two parents sitting at Stoops, nursing a beer while they watched the kids play. And you know what that looks like to me? It looks exactly like a scene from a park where you have two parents just sitting at a park bench, sipping a tall latte while they watch the kids playing at the playground or the slide. Same thing. It's the same vibe. The only difference is they're holding a pint of beer instead of a tall latte. And that just tells me, wow, this is truly a third place vibe.
And that people are stressed. They're drinking beers instead of lattes with their kids. But yeah, totally. So that would have been the Stoop back in Ballard, right?
Yes. And to me, I would say brewery tasting rooms have replaced coffee houses as the new third place. For instance, Holy Mountain, which is pretty much the standard beer in terms of great beer, they have always been adamant that we will always be a 21 and over establishment because, quote, we are an adult environment.
Yeah.
Well, guess what, Trevor? When they expanded to Phinney Ridge in the summer of 23, I walked by and there were high chairs for kids. There were booster seats for kids. There were menu with the word, quote, kiddo-friendly treats, unquote, because they're good at reading the room. They realize we're expanding to Phinney Ridge, and Phinney Ridge is a family neighborhood.
Yeah, sure.
They don't need another bar there. They need another third place. Yeah. And that's what Holy Mountain did. And to me, this was in a lot of ways a game changer.
Yeah.
Because Holy Mountain is a trendsetter.
Yeah.
They're what I would call a thermostat, not a thermometer. They set the temperature in the room. They don't just gauge it. The Ballard Brewery District, I would say, has more third places than anywhere else in the city within a 5-block radius. You have Barrel Breaker, you have Stoops, you have Ruben's, you have Urban Family Brewing, you have Old Stove Brewing and Garden. It's not just the Ballard Brewery District. We have other pockets around our community with a lot of these third places. Take Georgetown, for instance.
Totally.
Georgetown Brewing and Jellyfish.
Totally.
All third places. So I think you're going to see a lot more tasting room do this.
And it's not just dogs, obviously, at the breweries, nor kids. They're keeping people there with some good food, right? What's the deal?
You know, Trevor, we've talked a lot about this topic on the food team, about how much food costs, how expensive it is to do business here. Well, one way to get around all the red tape is for breweries to sublease to a chef to do pop-ups or to have a food truck parked out front. And the way things are now, Trevor, I would say the most exciting food scene are taking place whether in front of a brewery or inside the brewery. Right now, the hottest restaurant in North Seattle is Mexican Seoul, and they're parked in front of Project 9 Brewing. Midnite Ramen, one of the best ramen in the city, is located inside the new Figurehead Brewing in Wallingford. And in fact, it's so popular that Midnite Ramen is opening a second ramen counter inside Figurehead Brewing called Nanking Ramen. And I should mention there's one more. It's a big one coming up, and that's Holy Mountain Phinney. And they have signed up a cook from Spinazze, one of the best Italian restaurants in the city, and he will be doing fresh pasta in Holy Mountain. And I can go on and on. In fact, you can't even mention some of the best restaurants in the city without mentioning a tasting room or three. That's just the new reality. Well, Trevor, now I need a beer.
I don't know how that's supposed to make me feel.
Well, Trevor, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me, Tan.
After this episode aired, we got a message from a brewery recommendation to check out. This comes from our listener, Sam Akori from Bothell. He writes, "My family loves Triple Horn Brewing in Woodinville, Mac and Jack's Brewing in Redmond, and Side Hustle in Bothell. All are great family-friendly places that I can take my 2 young kids to." Sam said that Mac and Jack does food trucks, is dog-friendly, has a free tour, and puts on special events like Halloween costume contests and big game day parties. I gotta put that on my list. Thanks to Sam for sharing his top brewery picks. What's your favorite spot to hang out in your neighborhood? Email me with your favorite third place. You can find our email in the description of this episode. That's it for today. We have a list of all the spots we talked about in the description of this episode. We're taking next week off to take a little downtime and refuel. But we'll be back with more recommendations and hacks on navigating the Seattle food scene on October 16th. Thanks for listening to Seattle Eats. The show is a production of Seattle Times and KUOW, part of the NPR network. You can support Seattle Eats by investing in the local newsroom and the specialized beats that makes this sort of storytelling possible. Please consider joining and subscribing at KUOW.org/eats and SeattleTimes.com. Seattle Eats is produced by Brandy Fullwood and Claire McGrain. It's edited by Jim Gates and Trevor Lenzmeier. I'm Tan Vinh.